the most beautiful things that we read in the book of Daniel is how God took a man who was a slave, who was a foreigner, and God continued to promote him for the rest of his life. Whatever regime change, whatever economic situation, promotion after promotion after promotion came to his life. But that did not go unnoticed. Daniel chapter 6, beginning with verse 1. Darius the Mede decided to divide the kingdom into 120 provinces, and he appointed a high official to rule over each province. The king also chose Daniel and 2 others as administrators to supervise the high officers and protect the king's interests. So Daniel and these 2 other guys were over 120 provinces. Daniel was above all of these other guys. Verse 3, Daniel soon proved himself more capable than all the other administrators and high officers. Because of Daniel's great ability, the king made plans to place him over the entire kingdom. Now, notice, here is a plan to prosper. Here is a plan for promotion. When you begin to get noticed in your office, when you begin to get noticed in your company, and people are talking about you for higher positions, and people are talking about you for promotions in life, this is what happened to Daniel. Then, once people began to talk about Daniel becoming number 2 in the entire kingdom, then the other administrators and high officials began searching for some fault in the way Daniel was handling government affairs. But they couldn't find anything to criticize or condemn. He was faithful, always responsible, and completely trustworthy. Another translation says he was neither negligent nor corrupt. Now, I want you to understand, beloved, that there are always going to be people who are jealous of you and the abilities that God has given you. And as God begins to manifest those abilities through you, and these things are noticed by others, and you begin to be on the fast track for promotion, there are going to be dirt diggers. There are going to be people that you are about to be promoted over that are going to start digging for dirt in your life. And it's because of the envy in their lives. Now, part of this, chapter 6, verse 5, the only chance we have of finding grounds or accusing Daniel will be in connection with the rules of his kingdom. Daniel 6, verse 13, they told the king, that man Daniel, one of those captives from Judah, is ignoring your law. He still prays to his God 3 times a day. The things that people will use against us to stop the promotions in our life are first, prejudice, and secondly, our walk with God, because we live by certain rules. They said we're going to have to find something about the rules of his religion. There are rules of our faith that we don't break. Now, beloved, let's deal with the hardest one first, prejudice. Now, for those of us who live here in the Philippines, we don't experience this because this is our country. But for all of our beloved balikbayans, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Canada, England, the US, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Qatar. Do you have any idea the prejudice and bigotry that they have to face every day? As they begin to get a promotion, somebody says, they're just a Filipino. Why are they getting the promotion and not us? And all they've got is their prejudice. And you know what? It really, really hurts when the only thing people have to complain about you is the color of your skin, the color of your hair, the slant of your eye. It really hurts. And you know what? It does stop some people from promotion. And you deserve that promotion. But understand there will be people who will use that against you. And the other thing is the rules of his religion. There are things as Christians we just don't do. We don't lie. We don't steal. We don't cheat. We're not in corruption. We're not out getting drunk. We're not going to sleep with people to get a contract. We're not going to go get people drunk and get girls for them and provide girls for entertainment for them to get a contract. There are things we just won't do. And they will use that against us. Now, I want you to notice in verse 4, New Living Translation, they could not find corruption in him because he was trustworthy and neither corrupt nor negligent. Now, that should be your testimony, that there is no corruption in you, that you're not doing anything to get something for yourself. You're not return to sender. You're not a commissioner. And I've gotten so I resent those words so much because there are so many people, they're commissioners. Everything they do, they get a commission for, even though they're already paid to do that as their job. If you're a commissioner, people are going to find corruption in you. I know you don't like to hear that. And I know people say it's industry standard, it's industry practice, but it's corruption. And we know that. Now, they could find no corruption in him, and they could find no negligence in him. The higher he went up, the lazier he did not become, the harder he worked. And again, that's a problem with some people. The higher they go in life, the more promotions they receive in life, the more lazy they become. They're used to everybody else doing things for them, and they become lazy. There could be no negligence in us. There could be no corruption within us. But when we get that promotion, and persecution comes against us, then we get stuck in the lion's den, and God will shut the lion's mouth. And when we come out of the lion's den and God has shut the lion's mouth, two things occur in verses 25 to 28. Number one, God gets glory. And number two, you get your promotion. So don't ever be afraid of the lion's den. Don't ever be afraid of the consequences of persecution because somebody is jealousy and envy of you. When you come out of the lion's den, the lions' mouths are going to be shut. They're not going to be able to hurt you. God gets glory, and you get your promotion.